Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday morning. Alright. Hey ADT. Good morning, afternoon. Hope you're having a good day. Hey, how's it going? Hey Chiburecattle, how's it going? Yes, I just saw your your post there. He was one of the architects of the Iraq war, was he not? Or I guess the war on the Middle East, right? Between him, the Bush administration, Donald Rumsfeld, and there's another guy. He lied to the UN twice? Jesus. Yikes. That's messed up. That's messed up. Silver Knight Dragon, how's it going? Morning. Trying out a new browser today, so I hope it will be a good morning. Same. Why do people care? Well, then why do people care for the crab raves? Yeah, I'm not one to, like, you know, necessarily, how do I say this? Like, dance on people's graves. It's more of a make sure that we remember their legacy for what it was, right? Like, just to make sure that we're clear of who they were, because, like, if you notice some of the posts going around, like, yeah, he was the first African American Secretary of State, which is cool and all, but, like, also don't forget the legacy that this dude left, right? The impacts and legacy that this dude left. The 20+ year war. How many deaths? How much trillions did we waste? How many thousands of American soldiers? How many millions? How many millions of civilians, right? That's the legacy. Like, as long as we're accurate and as long as we're clear about the legacy that this guy left, then yeah, I'm all for it. These are war criminals that were able to live without accountability. Yeah, him and countless others before him and after him and currently. I like that he served the Diamond Republican presidents, yeah, but to what ends, Astro? He also covered up the Iran-Contra for Reagan too. Yikes. Yikes. That is a big ol' yikes. Well, folks, today we have quite a few headlines to go through before that news was broken to me. Thank you, Chai, for bringing that up. We probably would have heard of it. We probably would have heard later on, but thank you for breaking that. Let me just make sure we got all the... Yes, sir. U.S. imperialism. Well, I don't know if... I mean, I don't know if they're one and the same, but definitely all of these war companies who sell weapons and all of that definitely got their return on investment when they look to him. So today's going to be a lot of molding. Lot of molding. You know, the real question that I want to know is, did the real question I want to know is, did or was Colin Powell vaccinated? That's the question I really want to know. In a brief, just a brief overview of the previous headline that I posted but wasn't able to get through last time. We'll continue to monitor, I guess, the story. But if you guys don't know, Steve Bannon is being held in contempt for defying a subpoena from Congress. So we'll see how that actually goes through, whether or not he's held to account in any way, shape, or form. But hey. Yes, he was vaxxed. Wow. The article said he was double vaxxed. Gotcha. The question I want to know is, why wasn't he prosecuted for lying about WMDs? That is an excellent question. Twice, apparently. War crimes in America are not acknowledged because the moment they are, they become political ammunition for both parties. It's like a mutually assured destruction. Yeah, so like the gig is up, I guess, right? Once you have to acknowledge what, for example, President Bush did, then you have to acknowledge what the rest of them did, right? Yes, I did hear about Colin Powell. How's it going? New microphone color coordinated to your shirt, love man. The show's coming along nicely. Hey, Lee Spanner. Yeah, I'm one for aesthetics in terms of like color. I love messing around with color coordination and things like that. Right. Because both parties love imperialism and coup. I mean, is it just something that, like, is a thing for both parties, or is it something that because they're in the pocket of something like, like the military-industrial complex that needs to keep the profits up, could that be attributed to just something as simple as that? For me, since President Nixon, the US politics has gone sharply downhill. I agree. Well, I think honestly, yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. How's it going, Astro B? Yeah, to be fair, Shy Bureaucrat, tier 1 sub. When's the next badge? You've unlocked all the badges, my friend. You've collected all the badges. You went through all the gym leaders. You did it. You did it. should I make another like super secret badge? Should I make another super secret badge that only like two-year folks get? I'm stressed today, but it's not cold or wet. Well, that's good. That is good. Yeah, definitely. Okay. I'll make it like a super secret rare ADT badge with maybe gradient colors that only happens if you're like 2 years or something. Yeah, exactly. A super fabulous 3-year badge, which is even more secret rare. Secret rare. So I'll make a 2, a 3, and a 5, and then be done, right? Because 1 year is already one heck of a milestone. Then 2 years is double that. 3 years, holy yikes! That's awesome, amazing, amazing. And the fourth one would be the 5-year, which is yeah, glitter and sparkles, the whole 9 yards. We'll have like a special gradient for each one. We're investing in your future by sitting in that chair for the next 3 years. Exactly. Think of it that way. But honestly, all your support is really appreciated, and we unironically can't do this without you guys. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, so we do have quite the amount of headlines. I think I got them all. Yes. So just really quickly, the Steve Bannon story, TLDR. There is a consideration for some type of criminal contempt for defying subpoenas, which obviously is a consequence of his actions. And I think that you can't just say no to subpoenas, right? Like, I mean, can you imagine if that was like the standard procedure? If you were issued a subpoena and you were just like, meh, nah, hard pass. Like, wait, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. That's not how this works at all. Can you imagine? Hey Jesse James, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. Alright folks, let me see, we make sure we got all these headlines. Yeah, so they're considering criminal contempt for Steve Bannon, which, yeah, sure, absolutely. You can't just defy subpoenas and be like, yeah, no, it's not how this works. Alright folks, morning. Alright folks, I think I got it right. I think we got it all figured out. Let's see. Amazing. Cool. Right, why bother issue subpoenas if you're not going to enforce them? It's just like, yeah, exactly, Silver Knight Dragon. Like, then what would be the point of issuing subpoenas if people can just be like, nah, I'm good. Thanks, but no thanks. Like, wait, no, that's not nowhere near remotely how this is supposed to work, right? Because then effectively, it just becomes useless, right? Then what's the point? Hey, here's some cool news. Madison Cawthorn vows to prosecute Fauci, seize Chinese assets in U.S. if the GOP returns to power. Yeah, here's some cool, not authoritarian move. Here's some cool, totally not authoritarian threats. GOP Congressman, this guy is elected, Madison Cawthorn of North Carolina, pledged that if Republicans retake control of Congress, he would ensure that Dr. Fauci is legally charged with what? We don't know. While speaking in Rutherford County, outside of Asheville, Cawthorn accused Fauci of lying to Senator Rand Paul during a Senate hearing. Oh, so he's gonna try to try to hold him in contempt for lying to Congress. It's a crime to lie to Congress. When we take the majority, I'll make sure that man is charged. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to show receipts for that. Cawthorn has long been critical of Fauci throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Previously accused him of lying of the oranges. Of the virus. Yeah, that'll happen in this space-time continuum. Well, about the origins of the virus in July, he said without evidence he believes Fauci's culpable, that actually bears some responsibility for what happened in Wuhan lab. What? During an appearance on the TV station Newsmax. Okay, so that's where they allow this kind of stuff to perpetuate. I normally have a great amount of respect for the people who work here on Capitol Hill, knowing that although we have different ideas on how to accomplish it, we're all trying to work for the betterment of the American people. Okay, there's gonna need to be an asterisk next to that one, because, you sure about that? I will tell you right now that is not the case with Anthony Fauci, okay? During his Saturday speech, Cawthorn spoke of a new Republican Party, that would not sit around and not hold these people accountable. He also promised that if the GOP retakes Congress, he would seize every Chinese asset in America as a down payment for the reparations they owe us for what they've done to this country, our country. Okay, but like, what does that mean? What do you mean? And how are you how are you categorizing this? What is quote what they've done? What did they do? And seizing Chinese assets, what you're saying is that we're gonna take anything that's like made in China. What do you mean? There's a new day rising in America, and there's a new patriotic fervor rising in America. Ooh, yikes. That'll be a really smart move, then they'll just literally shut off the supply chain. Yeah, I mean, cool. Good luck, buddy. Though the congressman did not specify which assets he would seize, Chinese entities have invested billions of dollars into various U.S. companies, notably in the real estate industry, according to a database from Public Citizen. China's also accumulated more than $1 trillion in U.S. securities, more than any country other than Japan. Okay. Yeah, so good luck, buddy. You can saber rattle all you want, but reality is you're probably not going to be able to accomplish that. Yeah, more Republican hyperbole. Yeah, but this guy's actually dangerous, and I think that this guy actually means what he says. That's the only reason, like, that's why I cover some of these guys. A video of his remarks has been viewed by 500,000 times on Twitter and sparked some pushback from users that Cawthorn's promise fell outside the scope of Congress. The guy's wet behind the ears. Congressman low in seniority, Tom Poe, who obviously has no damn clue what Congress does and does not do. True. It doesn't matter. The point is, like, people like him are gaining steam in the Republican Party, and are being more and more legitimized. So, yeah. They should make these people pass a basic civics course. Scary to think that such an ignoramus vote on legislation affecting us all. True. Cawthorn represents North Carolina's 11th district, which spans conservative far western part of the state, but includes liberal city of Asheville. Freshman in Congress, he was elected last November with 54.5% of the vote. Newsweek reached out to Cawthorn's office for comment, but has not heard back from the publication. The story will be updated with any response. Yeah, so basically, yeah, cringe. Cringe with a, cringe with a topping of a lot of dog whistles there. A lot of dog whistles there. New day rising in America. There's a new patriotic fervor. Okie dokie. More than 120,000 U.S. sites feared to handle harmful PFAS forever chemicals. Oh no. Oh, okay. The EPA has identified more than 120,000 locations around the US where people may be exposed to a class of toxic forever chemicals associated with various cancers. Nice. Very, very good, very healthy. And other problems that are frighteningly tally 4 times larger than previously reported, according to data obtained by The Guardian. The list of facilities that make it clear that virtually no part of America appears to be free from the potential risk of air and water contamination with the chemicals known as PFAS. Colorado tops the EPA list with an estimated 21,400 facilities, followed by California's 13,000 sites, Oklahoma with just under 12,000. The facilities on the list represent dozens of industrial sectors, including oil and gas work, mining, chemical manufacturing, plastics, waste management, and landfill operations. So you're telling me that because we've been so intertwined and related to fossil fuels, and all of these, by the way, have alternative replacements. And all of these have alternative replacements. Plastics can be made from hemp, and therefore lessen landfill operations. Chemical manufacturing, especially like petrochemicals, can all be changed and alterated. Did you see the Buttigieg train route that will take 50 years to complete? Nice! Cool. 50 years. Nice. It'll only be done in 2070. Nice. Now, plastics, waste management, landfill operations, airports, fire training facilities, and some military-related sites are also included. The EPA describes its list as facilities and industries that may be handling PFAS. Most of the facilities are described as active. Several thousand are listed as inactive, and many others show no indication of such status. PFAS are often referred to as forever chemicals due to their longevity in the environment. And thus, even sites that are no longer actively discharging pollutants can still be a problem, according to the EPA. Yep. The tally far exceeds a previous analysis that showed 29,000 industrial sites known or suspected of making or using toxic chemicals. Yikes. So, like, the most clear areas are like this over here on the top left. People living near such facilities are certain to be exposed at some very high levels. Yikes. Yikes. A public health toxicologist and former director of the environmental epidemiology at the Connecticut Department of Health. Brown says he suspects there are far more sites than even those on the EPA list, posing long-term health risks for unsuspecting people who live near them. Once it's in the environment, it almost never breaks down. This is such a potent compound in terms of its toxicity, it tends to bioaccumulate. This is one of the compounds that persists forever. Yikes. Guardian analysis of the EPA data shows that Colorado, one county alone, while the county houses more than 8,000 potential PFAS handling sites with 7,900 described as oil and gas operations. Oil and gas operations lead the list of industry sectors of the EPA that says may be handling PFAS chemicals. So it sounds like we probably shouldn't we probably shouldn't be using oil and gas anymore. We're fucking joke. True. I heard Russia says it will not try to be carbon neutral in 2060. That's pretty cringe, but yikes. That's not helpful on Russia's part, because I know that at least over there they are pretty big on coal, and they're also very big on not keeping up their infrastructure when it comes to oil and gas lines. So their operations leak a lot of methane and a lot of excess fossil fuels. However, we should do what we can here. Our job is to focus within our purview right here. And if the US can get its collective-ish together, then we would have a leg to stand on when we ask, or when we attempt to get an international coalition. Because, like, how are we supposed to get an international coalition to help when it comes to climate change when we're not doing anything ourselves? So, like, at the end of the day, it starts with us. In July, a report by Physicians for Social Responsibility presented evidence that oil and gas companies have been using PFAS, or substances that can degrade into PFAS, in hydraulic fracking, a technique used to extract natural gas or oil. Cool, nice meme. Jesus, the EPA said in 2019 that it was compiling a data to create a map of known or potential PFAS contamination sources to help assess environmental trends in PFAS concentration and aid local authorities in oversight, but no such map has yet been issued publicly. That's probably because it's worse than it is, unless they haven't completed it yet. Well, we don't know. The new data set shows a total count of 121,181 separate facilities after adjustments for duplications and errors in listed locations and incorporations of analysis of additional EPA identifying information. The EPA facility listed was provided to The Guardian by the nonprofit Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility, or PEER, which received it from the EPA through a Freedom of Information request. PEER is currently representing 4 EPA scientists who have requested a federal inquiry into what they allege is an EPA practice of ignoring or covering up the risk of certain dangerous chemicals. This shows that PFAS is permeating all industry sectors. True. I mean, like, this isn't the first time also this would happen. So it wouldn't surprise me. Oil and gas is by far the leading factor here. Can I have a link to this? Oh yeah, for sure. We can use the power of our massive hypocrisy. Russia has Siberia, where permafrost is thawing and producing methane in huge sinkholes. True. True. PFAS PFAS chemicals are a group of more than 5,000 man-made compounds used by a variety of industries since the 1940s for such things as electronics, manufacturing, oil recovery, paints, firefighting foam, cleaning products, and non-stick cookware. True. People can be exposed to the contaminated drinking water, food, air, as well as contact with commercial products made with PFAS. The EPA acknowledges there's evidence that exposure to PFAS can cause adverse health outcomes in humans. The agency also says that there's only a very limited information about human health risks for most of the chemicals within the group of PFAS chemicals. The EPA officials have started taking steps to get a grasp of the extent PFAS use and existing and potential environmental contamination, as independent researchers say their own studies are finding a reason for alarm. Last year, for instance, scientists at a nonprofit environmental working group issued a report finding more than 200 million Americans could have PFAS in their drinking water at some worrisome levels. The EPA is expected to announce a broad new action plan addressing PFAS issues on Monday. Today, I assume. The list of facilities handling PFAS is one of the larger efforts by the agency to better understand and reduce the potential risk to human health and the environment caused by PFAS. Well, a bit too late there, my friends. EPA has made addressing PFAS a top priority. Together, we are identifying flexible and pragmatic approaches that will deliver critical public health protections. Linda Birnbaum, former director of the National Institute for Environmental Health and Sciences and an expert on PFAS, said that the EPA compilation of more than 120,000 facilities that may be handling PFAS and other recent moves shows that the agency is taking the issue more seriously, but more work is urgently needed. Unfortunately, where PFAS are used, there's often local contamination, and while the EPA appears to be trying to get a handle on the extent of exposure concerns, progress seems extremely slow. The American Chemistry Council asserts that PFAS concerns are overblown. Major manufacturers have moved away from the PFOS and PFOA-related chemicals that researchers have shown to be hazardous, and other types of PFAS are not proven to be dangerous. According to the Chemical Industry Organization, PFAS are vital to modern society, according to... Wait. Alright. See, when I hear this, I don't know. I usually press X to doubt. Usually when I hear language like this, I just like immediately press X to doubt. I want the planet to go carbon neutral, same. Sadly, I'm not optimistic on that. The on-cost and infrastructure changes needed is going to be massive fiscal and social burden. Well, the problem isn't the fiscal or social burden. The problem is the political will. That's the problem. The problem is the political will. Because, to be quite honest, Astro, the fiscal burden of allowing this to perpetuate, the fiscal burden of allowing climate change to continue in the path that it's going, will be to the tune of billions for each incident. For each incident. If you thought that last year's hurricane season was bad, that created one hurricane alone, I think, created like $30 billion in damages. How much billions did the California wildfires cost? Again, those are just isolated incidents. What happens when that just becomes kind of the norm? So yeah, I reject the idea that this is going to be some kind of massive fiscal or social burden, because the alternative is a lot worse. The problem here is the political will to actually address this issue. Where PFAS is used, local contamination is always present, because if you're using PFAS, you're not really concerned about safety. True. But public health and environmental groups, along with some members of Congress, say the risk posed to people by the industrial use of PFAS substances are substantial. 4 U.S. lawmakers, led by Rosa DeLauro, chair of the House Committee on Appropriations, wrote to the EPA Administrator Michael Regan on 6th of October about their concerns regarding PFAS contamination of air and water from industrial facilities, saying for too many American families, this exposure is increasing the risk of cancer and other serious health problems. True. More than 150 advocacy groups also sent a letter to Regan. Is it Regan or Reagan? I don't know. Calling for an urgent action to address the industrial discharges of PFAS chemicals, noting that many of the chemicals have been linked at very low doses to serious health harms. Yikes. One of the sites on the EPA list is the Clover Flat landfill in Calistoga, California, a small community in the Napa Valley area that is popular for its vineyards and wineries. The landfill sits on top of the northern edge of the valley, atop of the edge of a rugged mountain range. Clover Flat has taken in a household garbage as well as commercial and industrial waste since the 60s, but over time the landfill has become a disposable site for debris from forest fires. The EPA does not list specifically confirm though the EPA list does not specifically confirm Clover Flat is handling PFAS, the community has no doubt about the presence of the toxic chemicals. In May of 2020, water sampling reports requested by regional water quality control officials showed that PFAS chemicals were present in every single sample taken from groundwater from the leachate liquid materials around the landfill. Close to 5,000 people live within a 3-mile radius of the landfill, and many fear that PFAS and other toxins taken in by the landfill are making their way deep into the community. Yeah, true. I wouldn't be surprised. I agree, we're damned if we do or damned if we don't. However, the political will depends on who's paying and who supports the who is paying and who supports the politicians. Well, my friend, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that because this is gonna be a mauled session for today. Jeffrey Ellisworth, a mayor of the small city of St. Helena in Napa County, said multiple streams across the landfill property helping rain and erosion drive the chemical contaminants down the hill into the creeks and other water sources, including some used to irrigate farmland. He has been seeking regulatory intervention and has not been successful. A small group of Napa Valley residents have been working on a documentary film about their concerns with the landfill, highlighting fears that exposure to PFAS and other contaminants are jeopardizing their health. The water's full of foam and looks soapy and smells funny. Jesus Christ. That's pretty cringe. Said 69-year-old Dennis Kelly, who lives on a few acres downhill of Clover Flat. His dog Scarlet has become sick after wading through the waters that drain from the landfill into a creek that runs through his property. What? And for the last few years, he has suffered with colon and stomach cancer. Yikes. That's so sad. Kelly says that he fears that the water is toxic, and he has noticed the frogs and tadpoles that once populated the little creek are nowhere to be found. That's so sad. Pollution is what's going to kill us all. Well, where does that pollution come from? Someone is responsible for this. Someone or someones are responsible for this. There are people who made and who are making conscious decisions to do these things, right? There are people or groups of people, whether it be CEOs or board of directors, or whoever makes these decisions and gets rubber stamped to make these decisions. Those are the people who are causing these problems. People, companies like DuPont, right? Companies like DuPont who don't really suffer any consequences other than what, they have to pay a fine? Ooh, no. They just chalk it up to the cost of doing business. So there's definitely some ones that you can point to for this, and to blame for this. And then on top of that, you have a completely defanged EPA who doesn't have the ability, or I guess resources, to seriously work on these problems, right? Because this isn't just like a matter. This isn't just a matter of all of the ecological disasters, right? This isn't just a matter of all the ecological disasters that this is happening. It's also a matter of public health, to be honest. It's also a matter of public health. Yeah, the cost of doing business is going to end us as a species. True. Corporate culpability is hard to pin on real people. They melt away and their fines are minuscule. Well, corporations are people, are they not? At least how they feel. So then they should be punished as such, and therefore any corporation found to be doing this against any type of regulation or anything like that will essentially be forced to either pay for the cleanup and confirm that they're no longer doing this, or close down. Sorry. I'm sorry, but if you're causing thousands and thousands of people just in a single small area, massive health problems, if you're like destroying the natural or the surrounding ecological system, which is causing further problems down the line, I'm sorry, like, no. Either fix it, stop what you're doing, or hit the road. Because at what point do we say, like, enough is enough? At what point do we just continue to allow this to happen? That person, Mr. Kelly, is a real person. Okay? Corporations are mainly shareholders and pension funds, so it's actually bites. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't suffer any consequences. Sorry. I'm sorry. If this is like some roundabout way of trying to like not have any type of consequences, sorry. That doesn't fly with me. The cost of doing business is going to end us as a species, true. I'm sorry, but it's just like unacceptable to me that's like, that we just can't do anything about it. Because a lot of times, corporations will lie. Corporations will lie. More often than not. More often than not. Walgreens cited shoplifting as rationale for closing 5 stores in San Francisco, but local officials, data, and experts cast doubt on that explanation. Walgreens says it's closing its San Francisco stores because of an increase in retail theft. Police data obtained by the Chronicle did not show high rates of shoplifting at the closing stores. One expert said people moving out of the city during the pandemic could have hurt Walgreens businesses. Walgreens announced on Tuesday it would be closing 5 of its San Francisco locations due to organized retail crime, but police department data, local officials, and policy experts are casting doubt on that reasoning. Nice meme. While reports say the chain has experienced retail theft, other factors like COVID pandemic and oversaturation of stores are cited as potential factors behind the decision to close the stores. Walgreens spokesperson Phil Caruso said retail theft across its San Francisco locations has increased in the past few months to 5 times the chain's average. However, San Francisco Police Department data obtained by the Chronicle contradicts Walgreens' claims, with one of the stores slated to close reported only 23 shoplifting incidents since 2018. Some incidents of shoplifting likely go unreported, but the closing stores had on average less than 2 shoplifting reports per month since 2018. Organized retail crime continues to be a challenge facing retailers across San Francisco, but we are not immune to that. During this time, to help combat this issue, we increased our investments in security measures in stores across the city to 46 times our chain average in order to provide a safe environment. San Francisco mayor pushed back against these Walgreens stated reasoning for closing the stores. They say shoplifting is the primary reason, but I also think that when a place isn't generating revenue, when they're saturated, San Francisco has a lot of Walgreens locations across all over the city. I do think that there are other factors that come into play. Dean Preston, supervisor of San Francisco's 5th District, which will be impacted by the store closure, said the pharmacy chain has abandoned the community and its long plan to close the stores. Wait, this is a store supervisor? Huh. Odds that some are offended, I would suggest that a massive corporate chain might be closing retail stores for the exact same reason they told investors would close its... Wait, they told their investors that they would be closing, rather than the reason stated in their external PR. Wow. Walgreens has long planned to close hundreds of locations. In an SEC filing in 2019, Walgreens stated that they plan to close approximately 200 US stores following a review of the real estate footprint in the US. Yeah, so they lied. Seriously, do you want your pension to be sucked away paying fines and insurance to fight climate change? Hey, buddy, most of us don't even have a pension. What pension? And second of all, yeah, you know what else really sucks? Having to, like, deal with hurricanes, having to deal with wildfires, having to deal with the increasing increasing sea level rise, having to deal with pluvial flooding, having to deal with massive droughts, destroying your ability to grow food. That's kind of a bit of a problem. If shoplifting is destroying your business, you suck at your business. Bootstraps. In 2019, a Securities and Exchange Commission filing, Walgreens said it would launch a transformational cost management program that would shutter 200 stores in the US in order to save $1.5 billion in annual expenses by 2022. A May study, published by the Stanford economist Nicholas Bloom, found 15% of residents left San Francisco during the pandemic and have not returned, which he told the Chronicle would explain Walgreens' waning customer base in the city. San Francisco does have relatively high rates of property crime, which criminal justice researcher Magnus Lofstrom told the Chronicle could be in part due to the Bay Area's vast income inequality. Walgreens did not immediately respond to insiders' requests for comment, and this is not like some bastion of like lefty news. Okay, this is the Business Insider. Okay, and they're basically saying like Walgreens lied about this. Wow. Alright, folks. It's almost time for molding time. Also, folks, in a real quick I guess summary, because we kind of touched on this on Saturday, folks. If you guys don't know, there's a massive one of the biggest strikes that are happening across the country. There are tens of thousands of workers who are on strike currently. As far as I can tell, I'm not sure if the actors and the folks who do not the actors, the folks who do sound and lighting, I don't know if those folks in the television and music movie industry have gone on strike. I'm not sure. But there are tens and thousands of workers on strikes. Morning, chat. Howdy, howdy. The chain store contradiction is just an example of unbridled capitalism. They just want profit and will not stay anywhere they don't find profit. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. Alright, folks, get ready because this is going to be one heck of a mauled session. President Joe Manchin draws his red line on the child tax credit. Senator Joe Manchin has told the White House that the child tax credit must include a firm work requirement and family income cap in the $60,000 range. People familiar with the matter tell Axios. While Manchin's demand would dramatically weaken one of President Biden's signature programs to help working families, they would also reduce the package's overall costs. That would make it easier for the pivotal senator to support a final package potentially higher than Manchin's previous $1.5 trillion top line. At the same time, progressives would have a hard time accepting the changes Manchin is demanding. They'd also fundamentally alter a program that the president funded for 1 year and the $1.9 COVID relief package passed in March. Manchin's office declined to comment on Axios' report. Here's the thing. Do you know what happens? Oh, nice! Wait, what? The strike in Hollywood was called off. They have a contract and they won. The IATSE, the union, the union representing many movie production workers, came to an agreement, but it has to be ratified. The IATSE is a relatively strong union. Well, awesome. Awesome. Those folks are truly one of the hardest working people. Often without lunch, often without breaks, often 12 to 14 hour shifts, consistently carrying gear that's 60 plus pounds. I mean, Jesus. Thank you, Kinetic Pause. Oh, yikes. They'd also fundamentally alter a program that the president funded for 1 year in the $1.9 COVID-19 relief package passed in March. See, here's the thing. That plan, that child tax credit, was immensely popular, is immensely popular, and is giving a lot of relief. Okay? Is a lot of relief to a lot of these working families. Do you think that they're going to be okay with this relief that is desperately needed because wages are so depressed that they're going to be okay? And they're going to know, because you best believe that the GOP is going to plaster this all over the place. Manchin is the one who took this away or something like that, or they could. The point is, when you take away something popular, that has devastating effects electorally. When you take away something popular, it has devastating effects. It has devastating effects. So, for example, if we had, in the UK, it's political suicide to attempt to really try to do away with, the National Health Service, right? The NHS. Striking is not to stop climate change. I don't think anybody said that. Workers want a bigger share in their pay pockets. Well, yeah, because wages are depressed, not spent on infrastructure getting ready for climate change mitigation. What are you talking about? Hey, buddy, what are you talking about? Workers want a bigger share in their pay pockets. Yeah. How is this related to climate change? Not spent on infrastructure getting ready for climate change mitigation. So then what is... Hold on. Why are these two mutually exclusive? Why are these two being like put in the same sentence? Workers that are striking for better working conditions and better pay. Explain to me why this needs to be shifted into striking is not to stop climate change. What are you talking about? Workers want a bigger share in the... Yeah, no kidding. Workers aren't... The government's job is to upkeep infrastructure. That's what they're there for. Wait. The government's job is to spend on infrastructure because it benefits us all. I heard it be on a movie that was told like we're fighting a war to get this movie done. Oof. Manchin and Madam President Kyrsten Sinema held a call with House conservative lawmakers. They're not centrist last Wednesday, in which the senators detailed some of their specific concerns about Biden's $3.5 trillion social spending plan. Okay, so just to be clear, a lot of news outlets, including continue to use this rhetoric of social spending. Bro, anything that has to do with the government spending is social spending, okay? The military is social spending. They also discussed the White House's decision to link the package to the approval of the separate $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, a demand of House progressives. Wait, no, that is also inaccurate. That was the original plan from the Biden administration, not a demand of the House progressives. They're just sticking to that plan. Explain to us why workers shouldn't starve while owners steal all the value labor creates. True. Military isn't social spending. Well, it is in the sense that, like, it comes from taxes, right? It comes, all the governmental spending is social spending because it comes from taxes. Or, like, at least that's what the budget and all of the stuff that the budget is made for, whether it be government salaries, whether it be infrastructure, whether it be whatever. All of that budget is social spending, in my opinion. Or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Maybe you can correct me, Chai Bureaucrat. Sinema told lawmakers that she will not vote for the social spending plan until the House passes the infrastructure bill. I can see the plan. So, they're going to attempt, and I've said this before, they're going to attempt to use the bipartisan one, the $1.2 trillion, call that a W, and then not do anything else, and then take a big fat L in 2022. That's it. That's the plan. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, social benefit doesn't okay, so I see what you're saying, but, yeah, I guess. The military's only jobs program, and military recruiting heavily relies on this fact. True. Manchin also continues to privately tell colleagues the president's Clean Electricity Performance Program, a cornerstone of the Democrats' plan to achieve carbon zero electricity, is a non-starter. Non-starter, folks. Based Left, thank you for the follow. Yeah, says the Coal Baron. You'll kill for call it tuition? Really? Sign up here. I don't you think I'm conservative. Conservatives have rigged the playing field, so there is little spending power in the economy. To give workers a fair share and mitigate climate change, the government's job is to keep up infrastructure and enforce labor protections, right? So none of these have to do necessarily with workers striking to end climate change. You're not. My point is, you're not making any sense, and you're making like non sequiturs, right? So to fight climate change, basically that's on the government and the political will to essentially address this. Many toadies of the MIC tell the military as a Korean job. It does, but the most inefficient way. Yeah, I suppose. Yep. Yeah, says the Coal Baron. While Manchin has previously indicated he wanted progressives to pick one of Biden's 3 programs to help working families, he now seems more favorable disposed to policy that target families with young children in need. In addition to the pared back CTC, child tax credits, Manchin is open to Biden's $450 billion plan to subsidize daycare and offer free universal preschool The people familiar with the matter told Axios. Manchin, however, wants to impose stricter income caps on the daycare subsidies while keeping preschool free for everyone, as it is already in West Virginia. The senator is less interested in the $225 billion for a new jobs program, for a new program to provide elderly care and disabled people, according to people familiar with the matter. I wish they would like just say who, but okay. So hey, Senator Manchin, why don't you go and look some of these folks in the eyes, and especially in West Virginia. Thank you for the follow. I love nylon feet. Appreciate it. Doesn't matter to me. Non-combat jobs. I'm making bombs around the world. It ain't a cool job. True. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just describing our reality. Yeah, I got you. The Pentagon said the climate crisis is the worst threat to national security in this time. True. I wonder if President Joe Manchin has the gall to look at elderly folks and elderly folks in West Virginia, look them in the face and say, I don't know about providing like care for dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids. I don't know if we can do this. I wonder if President Joe Manchin has the audacity or the gall to look at those folks in the eye and say that to their face. Biden expanded the child tax credit in 2021, giving most families with young children up to $3,600 a year up to the previous $2,000, with monthly deposits going straight into bank accounts. He also extended it to households that didn't have any taxable income, providing a direct subsidy to poor families that are out of the workforce. White House officials say that a permanent and expanded CTC can reduce child poverty by half. Yeah, so like again, I want President Joe Manchin to go to the folks of West Virginia or anywhere, because his policies or his obstinance is affecting everybody in this country. I want him to say, I don't know, to the poor working families or to the poor families who have children who are just trying to scrape to get by, that just nah, you don't need that. You don't need that. But the program is expensive. It's not. Costing some $450 billion to extend it for the 4 years. Biden requested an estimated $1.6 trillion over 10 years, which $1.6 trillion over 10 years isn't necessarily that much, especially if you put the necessary taxes in place. My point is the pot of cash has to pay wages and mitigate climate change. What are you talking about? Who's mitigating wages? The companies, right? Who's mitigating climate change? That has to come, well, a piece of what has to come when it comes to mitigating climate change is the government. However, the conservatives make that pot so possible. How do you slice the pay? What? I feel like you're just not. You're just obstinate, and you're just being like probably contrarian, because you're not understanding and you're conflating a whole bunch of other things together. Okay, companies are the ones who pay wages, generally speaking. Okay, that has nothing to do with a government program to deal with climate change. Yeah, exactly. Then our Manchin is pro-child poverty. Yikes. I live in an in-home elder care paid by Medicaid. Those workers are underpaid, overworked, and undervalued, and the agency can't view people do it. People everywhere are refusing shit jobs, and that is one of them, often literally. Yikes. By placing income caps and a W-2 eligibility requirement for receiving the child tax credit, Manchin would lower the overall price by a figure still to be determined. Yeah, so here we have President Joe Manchin essentially telling everyone to get effed. Everyone who has a child and who's struggling to get by. Yep, sorry, get effed. Thanks, President Joe Manchin. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Right, almost 10% of what we gave the Pentagon. True. Yeah, the the uh the labor shortage is a meme. Just as you said earlier, seriously, the problem is people are tired of working shit jobs for shit wages in shit working conditions. That's literally what's happening. Yeah, you also have a lot of service workers who literally, unfortunately, passed away because of the pandemic. That's also true. That's also a piece of the puzzle. But I would say, like, especially now when people are refusing to go back to work or refusing to just take a crap job for crap wages. It's literally that. I'm talking about now because all the unemployment benefits are gone. All the unemployment benefits that are gone over a month now. I think, right? Didn't they stop in September? And in some cases, even earlier, depending on the state. I often wonder about the DoD black budget. What percentage of it is classified? Yeah, we will never know, I suppose. Anyways, President Joe Manchin and Madam President Kirsten Sinema, ladies and gentlemen, and MBs. They can make trillions just disappear via counting magic, yeah, or they just literally say oopsies and nobody questions it. Didn't they lose like $2-something trillion and everyone was like, oh yeah, that just happened and then nobody like said anything else? They ended in June here in Georgia. There you go. In some states it's earlier, so clearly it isn't the lazy, entitled people living off the government who are the problem. What? Yep, that was the thing. Hey, remember when this happened? According to Bloomberg's Anthony Carpaccio, the Department of Defense made $35 trillion in accounting adjustments. Wait. Yeah. where's the secret money? Oh, there is secret money? Oh yeah, well, 100%. So quite often they'll literally say like oopsies and nobody questions it, where in this case they just do some fantastic movement of money. Yeah, exactly. It's in Raytheon's bank account, true. But there was another story, hold on. Ah, here we go. Remember when Donald Rumsfeld said, quote, according to some estimates, we cannot track 2.3 trillion in transactions. (2002), folks. According to some estimates, we cannot track 2.3 trillion in transactions, Donald Rumsfeld admitted. Cool. Nice meme. But yeah, let's continue to talk about how, yeah, and everybody just kind of was like, oh, I guess this just happened. It's a thing. Unironically, I mean, it's there from 2002. It's not like it wasn't printed, but people kind of just definitely want to pay off Saudi princes, taught CIA assets to fabricate WMD evidence. Well, yeah, I mean, like, they were so lazy that they didn't even, like, attempt to fabricate it. Remember, like, I think it was a decade or something later where they actually admitted that, like, the evidence for WMDs were, like, basically nothing. They were going off, like, literally nothing. They didn't even bother to fabricate good, plausible, believable WMD evidence. They just said it was and willed it into existence, and the American people were like, yeah, that's fine. People were scared, and they just went with it. Yeah, everyone just kind of moved on. They brushed it aside, or they rationalized it by saying, well, I guess this is the price we need to do. Remember, this is 2002, Thundera. Not a war on ice cream. True. Alright, so TLDR. We are literally crying about $1.2 trillion on sorry, hold on folks. Give me 1 second. Sorry. $1.6 trillion over 10 years. But we are crying about well, excuse me. President Joe Manchin and Madam President Kirsten Sinema are crying about $1.6 trillion over 10 years, but the Pentagon magically cannot account for 2-point-something trillion dollars. and oh yeah, and that's not a problem? Wait a minute. Where are our priorities? Where are our priorities? They complain about 1.6 trillion over 10 years, but have no problem rubber stamping 9 trillion in 10 years for the military budget. He is a war criminal. The lot of them. The lot of them. Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things, folks, because President Joe Manchin is concerned about 1.6 trillion over the next 10 years. And how much did we spend in trillions in the Afghanistan war? I think we reached almost 10, didn't we? The last time I checked, the total was past 7 trillion. Someone can please fact check me if you can, to fact check that figure, but I'm pretty sure I saw a figure somewhere, somewhere at some point, something to the effect of 7 trillion, but I'm sure it was more now. Wait. Sorry, fake news. Sorry, fake news. It is closer to 2 trillion. It is closer to 2 trillion. Sorry, fake news. Maybe I'm thinking about, fake news, folks. It's about 2 trillion. So basically, this could have been covered. So this 3.5 trillion, this 3.5 trillion bill is over 10 years. Yeah. So when people say that it's going to cost nothing, what they mean is that it's covered. There's ways of paying for this, and there's receipts to pay for this. That's okay. So people have like this misconception where people have somehow taken this meme by saying like, oh well, the Democrats are saying that it's gonna cost zero. Well, actually zero does not. What they are actually meaning is that it's paid for. Yeah, America's wars were literal pallets of money just vanish on a regular basis. Yeah, about thousands of them a day. Thousands of dollars a day per person. Nice meme. Nice meme. So more than the Afghan war, the whole global war on terror. Wait, what? Nearly 20 years after the US invasion of Afghanistan, the cost of its global war on terror stands at... Oh, is that where... Okay, thank you, seriously. Okay, so see, I knew I saw that figure. Almost 10 trillion. Okay, thank you. So I knew that I wasn't just making this up. Okay, I see what you're saying. Or where I saw this. Sorry for my bootlegged photographic memory, but I knew I saw that figure somewhere in some place. So what you're saying is the actual total global war on terror stands at 8,900,000 deaths according to a new report from the Cost of War project at Brown University. Yeah, sure. Send it to me, seriously. Yeah, so okay, so I wasn't just making these things up, okay? I knew that it was almost about 10 trillion, and I knew it was over 7 trillion. Okay, so sorry for my inaccuracies. But it's okay, so now I get you. Sorry about that, folks. So it was half true news, okay? It was only half fake news. So I get half points for that, okay? I get a half point for that. Okay? No, wait, I used the wrong sound clip.
Please clap.
Please clap. Yeah, so can you imagine if we had 8 trillion funneled and reorganized our priorities to actually provide the services that Americans deserve just for being like humans, for being human beings? Imagine if we actually redirected $8 trillion to fight homelessness, $8 trillion to provide healthcare, $8 trillion to make sure that working families are taken care of if they can't do it on their own, to make sure that we have a robustly funded social safety net to make sure that people don't starve in this country. I mean, like, can you imagine what that would do? $8 trillion? Just think about that. Just think about that. Wait, I'm sorry, Astro? Wait. Do you know how taxes work? Hold on. Genuine question. Do you know how, like, the military gets funded? Because if you understand how the military gets funded, then you understand that we can raise taxes and fund and reorganize funding for programs that are actually working for people. How are we going to pay for it? What a weird question. And how come that question never gets asked when it comes to like rubber stamping hundreds of billions of dollars when it comes to like wasteful military spending? Capitalists don't want you to think about that. True. We would have no homeless and healthcare for all. Like China? I don't know. I think we could do better. Right, don't think about it if it's too expensive. Remember, Thandera? Alright. Here we go, folks. This is like what really... This is what really giga triggers... has me giga triggered. Okay? The government prints money after the fact. They tax to prevent inflation. MMT. Okay. Well, I mean, you're above whatever economic comprehension that I have, because I am unironically mostly economically illiterate. Okay, I make sense of things because, well, I'm involved in this space long enough to understand basic concepts. But when it comes to like the real complexities of how money runs and how all of that works, I defer to people who know more. I would say like, I would say like, I think between like between Bleeplop Ben and I think Touring News, they've given me a good educational way of kind of putting some pieces together to understand. But I excuse my economic ignorance, but I don't know how exactly the intricacies of how all of this works is. So I just understand that it can be very complex, and it isn't just it isn't always as simple as it seems. Some things are, but some things aren't. The Clean Electricity Performance Program, the cornerstone of climate policy and Democrats' massive social safety net package, will likely be dropped on the final budget deal after pushback from President Joe Manchin of West Virginia, 3 congressional sources told CNN. He's not there on the CEPP period. We've been trying. Okay, well, you know what? If he's not going to play ball to try to help like folks with child tax credits, if he's not going to play ball and put means testing crucial like programs that are needed, if he's not going to play ball, then why the hell is he there? He told Democrats he's trying to find a way to restructure the program to fit Manchin's concerns while still reducing greenhouse. What concerns? Oh, I know. Could it be his involvement with the coal industry? Could it be the fact that ExxonMobil considers him a kingmaker? Is that his concern? Is that his massive concern? Whatever comes through, will not be called the CEPP, but we're strongly hoping and thinking that there will be ways to meet what he wants. What he wants is no climate provisions because it affects his bottom dollar. That's what it is. It affects his donors and it affects his bottom dollar. You're not going to move him on this. But if there's a deal to be struck in the next few days, I don't think it'll be anything resembling the CEPP. In other words, they're scrapping that. The most like important piece of the entire thing. The most important piece of the entire thing is going to be scrapped. The House and Senate will return from recess next week. House Speaker Pelosi scheduled the caucus meeting for Wednesday at 9 a.m. as Democrats try to make progress in negotiations for their sprawling economic package, which aims to expand education, healthcare, child support, and according to lawmakers who received a lawmaker who received the release, the NYT the New York Times first reported the climate measure would likely be cut. Democrats had designed the program to give utilities federal grants to increase their share of electricity from clean sources and penalize those who fail to up their clean electricity. There have been discussions about lowering the program's emission standards to allow coal and natural gas-fired plants with carbon capture technology, which already is a bit of a meme. Another Democratic aide told CNN, but there's doubt that would be enough to get Manchin to support the program. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. That's the problem. Even though Manchin is a longtime proponent of carbon capture, He has recently cast doubt on its potential. I'd love to have carbon capture, but we don't have the technology really because we haven't gotten to that point. Hey, you know what is available right now would give us independent energy independence, and on top of that would be cheaper. On top of that, we can actually make new technology, creating jobs, not only creating jobs to laying down the infrastructure, but also to maintain it. And on top of that, we can also make systems that are available to us right now, closed loop systems, to make sure that the battery systems that we have for backups don't even include a big carbon footprint. We have the technology to make this as renewable as possible right now. And with the economic argument, by saying that we can expand economic growth, we can add millions of good paying jobs, we can add further jobs in terms of maintenance of all this infrastructure, and we would reduce cost as well. We don't have to take all of these unnecessary extra steps, okay? We don't need to necessarily put all our eggs in like carbon capture. Economics is complex by design, true. Oh yes, just a quick detour. The cost of a 20-year war on terror, $8 trillion and 900,000 deaths. A report from the Cost of War Project at Brown University revealed that 20 years of post-9/11 wars have cost the U.S. an estimated $8 trillion and have killed more than 900,000 people. Yep, there it is. I knew I saw it somewhere. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. Thank you, I appreciate that. But we don't have the technology because we really haven't gotten to that point. It's so darn expensive that it makes it almost impossible. Hey, you know what's also impossible and expensive? Yeah, rising sea levels, increasing flooding, increasing droughts. Our ability to grow food is shot. Is shot if that happens. Wildfires creating a whole bunch of destruction. Not only destruction of the ecological systems, but also of people's houses, also causing billions of dollars in damages. The same thing with hurricanes that are becoming bigger each season, have cost the Gulf Coast and the East Coast billions upon billions upon billions of dollars each time a hurricane happens. So yeah, rising sea levels also are going to cause quite the amount of economic, expensive, and impossible to avoid damage. So Jesus Christ. Manchin spokeswoman Sam Brunyan told CNN in a statement Friday that the senator has clearly expressed his concerns about using taxpayer dollars to pay private companies to do things they're already doing. He continues to support efforts to combat climate change while protecting American energy independence and ensuring our energy reliability. No, he's not. He's doing the exact opposite of that. He's not combating climate change in any way, shape, or form. The best way to protect American energy independence is to make it as renewable as possible. You don't need to rely on oil and fossil fuels. And ensuring our energy reliability, which you can with a closed-loop system of batteries, and with wind, solar, geothermal, hydroelectric being the best. Being the best. Is where we can make sure we protect energy reliability. Hey Mono, how's it going? Good evening. First time I've been able to get here in a while. Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you're doing all right. I know that you've been posting some great stuff in the Discord to just kind of keep us informed of international efforts and just interesting stuff. Yeah, good looking out, Manchin. F them glaciers. Thanks, President Manchin. We understand that we have to get 50 senators on board, and that Senator Manchin is obviously a very big role to play on this. This is in his committee. Yeah, imagine having... This is like the most mind-blowing thing that about this whole thing. Check this out, chat. I'm sure most of you already know this, but check this out. The guy who has personal investment, personal stakes in a coal... I think coal plant, I believe. He has like 500,000 or something like that. He has personal stakes in a coal related factory. Is getting lobbied successfully by the oil and gas industry. They call him the kingmaker, right? And the icing on the cake is that he is the head of the Energy Committee. And he's the head somehow, because there's totally, absolutely no conflict of interest. He is the head of the Energy Committee. You can't just stay mad. Yeah, I'm just, yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm just mad that I'm not making coins like he is. Houseboat coal power mansion, true. Surely that's a conflict of interest. Yeah, absolutely. You expected a Green New Dealer to be ahead of it? Yep. Who better to put there than somebody who doesn't want anything to change? True. True, Mono. Who better to put there than someone who doesn't want anything to change? You're right. You're right. How in God's name did he become a chair of anything, let alone the Energy Committee? Yeah, nice meme, isn't it, Eric? Nice meme. And so we're continuing to push for the strongest possible climate protections that will allow us to bring down carbon emissions. We're open to that negotiation as long as we have strong climate protections that bring down carbon emissions. That's the discussion that's underway. He is not going to budge. That's the problem. The Clean Energy Program, along with the Clean Energy Tax Credits, would have accounted for the vast majority of Biden's target for the US to cut its greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52%. Relative to 2005 levels by 2030. That's 9 years from now. And albeit, I understand that it's not, ideal. It's not the most ideal plan, but it would be something. And that something is the crucial thing that we needed to kind of kickstart or put something on the board. But President Joe Manchin is just telling everybody to go F themselves. Unironically, he's just literally telling everybody to go F themselves. Doesn't give a crap about child poverty. Doesn't give a crap about climate change. It is very clear who he is working for and benefiting. Fitting, I guess, but the Democratic Party isn't helping me not be entirely black-pilled. I know, I'm like this close, Eric. This article right here, unironically, Giga triggered me. We got to a point where constituents have to paddle out in kayaks to the senator's yacht to ask for help. Yeah. And the other thing that he said, that what was the quote? He didn't want to create a entitlement mentality when it came to giving more social safety net, more social safety nets to the American people. He said that he wouldn't want, and we went over this Saturday just for like a bit, but I'll recap, especially because of all of this has to do, all this ties together to the 3.5 trillion. He said that he wouldn't want people to get an entitlement mentality. Yeah, Giga triggered. I've read pieces of it, Mono. The article we read, yes, the article we read last week. President Joe Manchin doesn't want people to get too comfortable with an entitlement mentality. Says the person who gets all the governmental goodies, a governmental salary, everything expenses paid for, the best and top tier healthcare and all of this other stuff for almost free. Basically, he doesn't have to pay for anything. He doesn't have to pay for anything. He doesn't have to pay for anytime he travels abroad. He's good. He's pretty much good. And he is telling everybody else that he doesn't want people to have an entitlement mentality. Says the person with the entitlement mentality. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Opium won't save us. Yeah, clearly you're right. Right, it's time for them bootstraps, President Manchin. If he unironically feels that way, maybe all of his salary and maybe all of his governmental goodies, all of that should be just taken away and be like, you know what, Mr. Manchin, we wouldn't want you to develop any type of entitlement mentality. So, take away all the goodies. In fact, I would say take away most of the goodies for these Congress people. Of course, the counter argument, which I believe Chai also brought up, was that they would just be more open to bribery, but it's a difficult situation. Opium is my strategy. That works. A clean energy tax. Okay, hold on. I'm still unbelievably giga triggered. An analysis from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer found close to 42% of Biden's decarbonization target could be achieved from those two programs combined. So, a good enough chunk to be included, a good enough chunk for an argument to be made for these things to be included, and President Manchin is telling everybody to get effed. The clean energy tax credits in the bill are on more solid ground and most likely end up in the bill, an aide told CNN, and they could represent the majority of President Joe Biden's climate package along with electric vehicle tax credits. The Clean Electricity Program defines eligible clean electricity as not creating more than 0.10 metric tons of carbon dioxide per megawatt hour. Electricity generation from coal, on the other hand, releases about 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide per megawatt per hour, according to the EPA. Under the provisions, clean sources of energy could include nuclear, hydroelectric, solar, wind, or sources that capture the emissions from fossil fuels before they escape into the atmosphere. Manchin has been critical of the clean energy program since its drafting, saying it would pay utilities to do something they're already doing, transitioning away from fossil fuels. Okay, but here's the thing, Mr. President Manchin. We've got a time frame to do this. So therefore, it would behoove us to try to do this as best as possible. I like Kyle's idea where Biden threatens to take away his huge military base in the state. Oh snap! It's Grolum. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like Kyle's idea where Biden threatens to take away that huge military base in his state. Yeah, but like, sorry I've been absent lately. Work has been crazy. No problem. It's all good. Appreciate it. Unfortunately, Biden doesn't play hardball like that for important issues. Right. It seems to me like it's all coming full circle, and it seems like folks, we're coming to, well, I'm gonna speak for myself, coming to the conclusion that the things that need to be done in terms of climate change aren't going to get done, and what's going to end up happening, all of these half measures, all of these like milquetoast approaches, especially things that people desperately need, especially things that are popular, aren't getting done. People aren't going to come out. Then it's going to result in the GOP sweep in 2022, which then will turn into a GOP sweep in the 2024 presidential election. and then things get really, really concerning. Mansion, the dinos playing, the temporarily embarrassed millionaire in his district. True. Thanks for the shout out, of course. Hey, howdy. Even easier, just start stumping in a state. I don't know, anything, like literally, unironically anything. I don't know what to do at this point. Imagine if Q himself was running for Maricopa. Wait, wasn't there a dude who was like, who was a QAnoner running for something? I don't know if it was in Arizona, but they were running for something. They were running for a state representative, I think, or federal representative. Steinbeck said the reason that socialism is under hold in America is everyone sees themselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Yeah, well, I mean, there's like, oh, Ron Watkins is running. No way. That's right. That's what you posted. Oh man. So just a quick side detour. For those of you who haven't noticed, it seems like Ron Watkins himself is running for a governmental position. So anybody who knows who Ron Watkins is should be incredibly alarmed that this is the guy who is running. So please make sure that you get out there and make sure that he doesn't get anywhere near power. He's now saying that QAnon doesn't exist, but he's still playing the classics that Trump won the election was rigged, yada yada yada. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, it doesn't matter. He could say that Q doesn't exist, but people are already, like, rationalizing it. See Michael Flynn? Was it Michael Flynn who said, like, oh, it doesn't even matter if Q exists. You are Q. Was it Michael Flynn or Lynn Wood? I think it was Lynn Wood who said that, oh, it doesn't even matter if Q exists. You are Q. You be Q. He's just saying it to throw off other trail? No way. The amount of mental gymnastics is on the Olympic level. Is he pushing for Trump as Speaker of the House? I don't know. But anyways, pay attention. Ron Watkins, the guy from 8chan, is running. So please, if you're in that area, please take a note of that. As CNN previously reported, Manchin has rejected his Democratic colleagues' calls to include aggressive climate measures in the bill and said that the goal laid out by the White House to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 by half by 2030 simply would not happen. We're in the middle of an energy crisis. Hey, buddy, you know what would be an amazing shift and an amazing opportunity, especially that you just admitted that we're in an energy crisis. Can you imagine having this, like, a big galaxy-brained idea of dealing with the energy crisis is to move to renewable energy. Wow, amazing. Yes, he's running for office. That's the state of politics today. Yeah, Mono. Yep. Oh, I see. Okay, so he passed away from COVID complications because he was immunocompromised. Okay, well that, yeah, okay, gotcha. Hey, Pirate Ninja. Trump would take Pelosi's old job. Anyways, the TLDR is, the best thing that you can do in terms of, like, energy independence or to deal with this energy crisis is to start moving into renewables as quickly as possible in every way that you can, in as many ways as you can, to decouple yourself from fossil fuels and not get messed up by this energy crisis. I mean, we have movie stars, failed reality TV stars. Why not Internet grifters. Sure, just add that to the list. Speaker of the House and VP are a way to bypass presidential term limits. Not that Trump had a term limit. I proposed this as a joke to last year to get Obama in 2021. Very frustrating. Very frustrating, folks, and honestly quite worrying to me. It really does worry me, the fact that, like, our government can't, our government can't seem to get it together when it comes to something like climate change, or something as simple as providing or expanding child tax credits, or something as simple as making sure that people have pre-K and education and community college for 2 years, which is really not that much compared to literally every other country offers a complete ride to college. I mean, okay, so it just blows my mind that our government can't seem to collectively do something good, okay, and solve any of these meaningful problems. To address, like, child poverty and eliminate it in half. That is the most bare minimum things that you can do. And you're still having, like, problems discussing this, or still have, as President Joe Manchin stated, have some concerns. And have statements like, we wouldn't want people to get into an entitled mentality. I mean, this is unbelievably frustrating, and this is going to lead, I think, further down the road. This is going to lead down further down the road, bigger problems, in my opinion. What? Motorist is fined after CCTV confuses his number plate with a woman's t-shirt? What? That's mildly amusing. Weird. But okay. Don't worry, the AIs will save us eventually. Facebook on Monday announced its plan to hire 10,000 people in the European Union to build the metaverse, a virtual reality version of the internet that the tech giant sees as the future. Oh yeah, this is totally what we need. Will you whip the fear and win re-election if solve problems? Yeah. The man's got a yacht maintenance to worry about. Can't be letting the boars have any food or shelter. True, sorry. I apologize. We can't do much to help the boars, or else the Republicans will cause communists. See, our hands are tied. Can't do anything. I mean, like, they're already, you know, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are already out there saying, like, this is a radical socialist spending agenda that will transform this entire country, and like blah 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 blah. Like, dude, the modicum of improvement of having like 2 years of college, the modicum of improvement to make sure that the popular child tax credits that are already on board, clearly we can pay for them, they've been there, is just too much, apparently. Well, Mono, to be fair, now that they're aware of it, they're probably gonna fix it. I mean, like, the idea that, like, our government can't seem to get their collective ish together is incredibly frustrating, and we don't have time for this, right? We don't have time for this, because although, obviously, we have, although we still have time, the problem with all of this milquetoast kind of, like, approaches to, especially something like climate change, I'm specifically talking about, like, the urgency and necessity to deal with climate change. The problem is, well, this kind of attitude and this kind of milquetoast approach is going to get you swept out of office. And has any Republican really, as a whole, has the Republican Party given some type of robust and amazing climate change proposal? No, they don't care. They think it's some type of hoax, and most of them, or the overwhelming majority of them, of the GOP, in terms of like the party leadership, doesn't care. They don't care. They don't care. So that's what's gonna happen, and then all of that momentum is gone. All of that momentum is gone because the GOP is going to win the midterms, and consequently, if that happens, and consequently, if that happens, they're most likely going to win the presidency. And then what? We have to stall and wait another election cycle, only to be told that we need to get out there and vote, because the only options are Republicans and Democrats, and we're back to square one. Nothing gets done, and it repeats itself for another cycle, and then that's it. Time's up. Sorry, bud. We don't like that socialism stuff in America. Go to China. Socialism is when you give Socialism is when you increase keep the incredibly popular child tax credits. Socialism is when you provide VPK for children. Socialism is when you give 2 years of community college. Socialism is when you attempt to push this country into the future by making sure that we have a robust infrastructure system, energy independence, jobs, economic growth, and new technology. That's socialism, folks. I can't do it. Sorry. Howdy, howdy. Everything is just too expensive, and impossible. Can't be done. Sorry, guys. Right, oh yeah, and if you want communism, then that's when Obama phone. But the people only cared about the quote label. Yeah, well, yeah, when you go full communism is when you get an Obama phone. That's the tell right there. That's the tell. You get a Obama phone. You don't want an Obama phone? That would mean I would have an Obama phone. And I don't want one of those. Fair. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Ring, ring, Obama phone. So America works for politicians and police don't work for society. Well, the thing is, it kind of all goes in circles, doesn't it? Politicians work for their own self-interest. I think mostly that's true. I think like the majority, they either work, well, I guess, yeah, it would be like, I think the overwhelming majority work for their own self-interest or power because they would serve their donors who keep them in power and so the circle goes. Ironically, the only people I know who got an Obama phone are far-right conservatives. Lamau. Yeah, I think that was the point, Pirate Ninja. Ring, ring, Obama phone. You know it's an Obama phone because of the gigantic communist-sized dial pads, Drew. Dial pad keys. I know you did your part. This channel and people here do their job. True. All right, folks. So what I would like for people to gather from this is, I've heard that song 10,000 times. Is the reality is, we're approaching levels of this isn't working, folks. This isn't working, and it's going to cost a lot of pain, suffering, destruction down the future that we just can't really afford. And it's really disheartening to see that the Democratic Party is going in this direction. It's really disheartening, and it really does show like how poor political judgment they've been having. I mean, like, remember, Chuck Schumer is the one who makes all the or has power to make appointments when it comes to heads of chairs, right? They choose the heads of chairs. Am I not mistaken, or what? How did Chuck Schumer or whoever made these decisions, how did they think, oh yeah, let's get Joe Manchin, the person who definitely doesn't have conflict of interest, who doesn't have stakes in coal, who doesn't get lobbied heavily by ExxonMobil and other oil companies. Well, let's put that guy in charge of the Energy Committee. Yeah, we're really almost over the cliff at this point, right? And like, I think that like this is so disheartening because we could do so much good. We could do so much good. We could pass like excellent legislation. We could meaningfully improve this country. We could meaningfully improve the lives of the people in this country. We could give people a breathing room. We could give people the things that they need. We could give people the ability to have food, housing, education, healthcare. We could do these basic things. But, you know, we wouldn't want them to get an entitlement mentality. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Anyway, folks. I'm sorry. This is like incredibly frustrating because like we have a set limit of time. I know we have time, but the problem is as we approach these election cycles, nothing gets done, and then that kind of goes out the window. Most of my experience with conservative thinking is that is projection. Poor conservatives are mad at themselves because they didn't get what they thought they would out of life, but they wrecked this at the wrong people. Right, Josh Hawley and Jim Jordan likely are on like every committee that happens to talk about domestic terrorism. Yikes. It's all backwards. It's all backwards. We live in like bizarro world. It's really frustrating because like I mean, at the end of the day, I guess the Democratic Party just doesn't want to do about anything about anything. They're going to get swept in 2022. And that'll be it. That's it. GG. GG, everybody. It was great while we had that one opportunity. And that's about it. Unbelievable to me. Unbelievable to me. Sorry for dragging the mood down with all my doomering. I was already giga triggered coming into this because of that article that I saw and because of the other article with that quote. That quote is still like stuck in my head. It's still ingrained in my head. We wouldn't want them to develop a entitlement mentality. That just like is just etched in my brain. How could you say that? How could you say that? How could you tell elderly people that they wouldn't you wouldn't want them to develop an entitlement mentality when there is an expansion to hearing aids, eyeglasses, and dental care for Medicare on the table? Right? How could you tell them that? And mind you, most of these seniors who are on Social Security aren't exactly like that rich. Most of these people are literally living from Social Security check to Social Security check. Yeah. Alright, folks. Unfortunately, that is all the time I have today. I do have to get going a few minutes earlier than normal, because I have to make sure I'm good for work. It seems like my computer needs a little bit of my work computer needs a little bit of update, so I do have to get going. I've been full GG since August of last year. This was when I accepted the loss of our future and went full doomer, but going full doomer was kind of freeing. It allows me to think of harm mitigation as a priority. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, sourcing, because like at the end of the day, that was the goal in the beginning. Like that's always the goal, right? See you tomorrow. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. I apologize that I have to leave a little bit earlier. I do need to get things going for work. As always, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to follow here. Don't forget to join us on the YouTubes. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that awesome stuff. Join us on the Discord. Join us on the YouTubes. Hey APFSD. Join us on the Discord, as always, and also follow some of these wonderful folks here. I see Sourcing Support, Alioshare, and Grolum. Let me make sure I get everybody. Don't tell me how to live my life. Sorry about that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you, Grolum. Thank you, Mono. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys, Socialist Carlos. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Who said the quote that you're referring to? Oh, who? The entitlement mentality? Oh, that's President Joe Manchin. Unbelievable. I know. It's unbelievable. Alright, folks. Please, unfollow, unsub. True. Sorry, have a good day. You have a good day, Pirate Ninja. You have a good work day. Increasingly feel appreciate that. Thank you guys for the support. I really do appreciate it. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. No, nothing to be sorry about. You're good. Trust me. My energy and my mold is to Joe Manchin, to be honest. I refuse to have a good day. Well, that's your prerogative. Gonna replay Disco Elysium for the 6th time. Is that a game? It would be great. Anyways, folks, as always, please stay safe, take care of each other, I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! It's one of the best. Well, put that one on the list. Yeah, let's go to iDan Simpson. We haven't visited them in a while. Alright, folks, we're heading out. Hang with us, we're heading out to more chill vibes as always. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.